All right, for our warm-up, it says divide using long division. So we have 2y to the third minus y squared plus 25 being divided by y minus 3. One thing we got to make sure, just like we were doing yesterday, we got to make sure we don't have any missing terms. So we going from standard form from the highest exponent to the lowest, we got 2y cubed minus y squared. And we don't have any y to the first term, so we're going to say plus 0y and then plus 25. So again, make sure you're counting down from your highest exponent down to your lowest. So from the third in this case, to the second, to the first, to the nothing. And we're dividing that by y minus 3. All right, so setting this up as a long division problem, we're going to do our dividend 2y to the third minus y squared plus 0y plus 25 dividing by y minus 3. All right, again, letting the y value kind of be the driving force here. Y goes into 2y cubed how many times? That's 2y squared. We're going to take this whole thing, multiply by 2y squared, and we get 2y cubed, then negative 3 times 2y squared is negative 6y squared. Now we're going to subtract that whole line. So 2y cubed minus 2y cubed cancels out. Then we have negative y minus negative 6y, so it's like it's negative y squared minus negative 6y squared. It's like it's plus 6y squared, which gives us positive 5y squared. Bring down that 0, so we got that plus 0y. And we're going to repeat that same process, but now with the 5y squared. So y times what gives us 5y squared? That's 5y. And we'll multiply this whole thing by 5y. So y times 5y is 5y squared. Negative 3 times 5y is negative 15y. And again, we'll subtract. So 5y squared minus 5y squared is 0. 0 minus negative 15y gives us positive 15y. And then we'll bring down that 25. I'm going to do it one more time. Y goes into 15y 15 times. And we're going to multiply this whole thing by 15. Y times 15 is 15y. Negative 3 times 15 is negative 45. And we subtract. And when we subtract, we get the 15y minus 15y cancels out. 25 minus negative 45 is positive 70. And that's our remainder. And just like we did yesterday, our remainder, we're going to do plus our remainder over our divisor. So 2y squared plus 5y plus 15 plus 70 over y minus 3 is our final. All right, let's keep going. We have one single goal for the day. We're using synthetic division today. That's a new process to divide polynomials. So synthetic division is kind of a shorthand version for some of the stuff we were doing yesterday with long division. It will work in only a couple cases. The first thing we need to do is the polynomial must be written in standard form. That dividend must be written in standard form like we did yesterday, using 0 as a coefficient for any missing terms. And the divisor must be in the form x minus a. X minus a, emphasis on that. Cannot be 1x minus 7. It cannot be 2x minus 7. It can't be x squared plus 12. It has to be 1x. The a can be whatever number you want. Now, taking a look at the directions for this, there's a lot of words here. I'm going to quickly just scan through it. So the first thing, the example it gives here is 2x squared plus 7x plus 9, and we're dividing that by x plus 2. The first thing we do is write the coefficients of the dividend, so the 2, the 7, and the 9. And then in the upper left corner, we're going to make a box here, and we're going to put the 0 of your divisor, so whatever makes x plus 2 equal to 0. Now, after that, we're going to draw a line below there, and we're going to drop the first number down. Now, the process that we're going to repeat over and over and over is multiply, add, multiply, add. So again, we drop that first number down, and we're going to multiply that by negative 2. You're always going to multiply by what's in the box in the upper left, and you're going to get negative 4, and we're going to put it there. Then we're going to add those two numbers, so 7 plus negative 4 gives us 3, and then we're going to multiply that by negative 2 to give us negative 6. And we're going to add that 9 and the negative 6, and we end up with a remainder of 3. So the numbers that we have here, we have the 2 and the 3. The quotient that we get here at the result of a division problem is going to be 1 degree less than we used to. 1 degree fewer than we used to have. We started off with 2x squared. We divided by something with x, so it's going to reduce down to 2x. So again, 2x squared, it's an x squared term being divided by x, is going to reduce to x to the first. Let's try this out with some actual numbers. So we're asked to divide using synthetic division. We got 3x to the fourth minus x to the third plus 5x squared minus 1. One thing you need to pay attention to, look for any missing terms. We have an x to the fourth term, x to the third. We're missing an x squared, so we should say 3x to the fourth minus x to the third plus 0x squared plus 5x minus 1. And that's all being divided by x plus 2. So again, we're going to write the coefficients for our dividend. We're going to do, 3, negative 1 for the negative x to the third, 0, 5, and then another negative 1. In this box over here, we're going to put the 0 of our divisor, so we're going to get a negative 2. We're going to draw a line underneath. We're going to drop that first number down, 3. And we're always multiplying, and I'm going to jot these notes down as we're going along. I typically don't do this, but just for the first time you ever see this. We're going to take that 3 and multiply by negative 2, which gives us negative 6. We're going to add the negative 1 and the negative 6 together, and we get negative 7. And we're going to take that negative 7 and multiply it by negative 2. So again, multiply by negative 2. So negative 7 times negative 2 is 14. We're going to add the 0 and the 14 together. We get, 14 again. We're going to take 14 and multiply it by negative 2. Again, I don't typically write these diagonals as I'm doing this, but I'm doing it now. So we're multiplying 14 by negative 2. We get negative 28. 5 plus negative 28 is negative 23. And last, we're going to multiply that by negative 2. Negative 23 times negative 22, negative 23 times negative 2 is positive 46. And we're going to add negative 1 and 46 together, and we get 45. That last number we get there is always our remainder. Now going back to what we were talking about at the beginning, we started off with x to the fourth here, and we're dividing by something with an x. So that means our first term, what we end up with at the bottom here, is going to be our x to the third term, because x to the fourth divided by x gives us x to the third. The next term, we're just going to go down a degree with every coefficient. So we have negative 7x squared plus 14x minus 23. So again, we just keep going down one exponent every time. And then the same thing we did with our remainder for long division, we're going to do plus our remainder, 45, divided by our original divisor, x plus 2. And so that's our full polynomial after doing long division. It's shorter. It's overall quicker. Let's try another one. X squared minus 3x minus 18 being divided by x minus 6. So looking at the x squared minus 3x minus 18, there are no missing terms. We start off with an x squared. Oops, sorry, thought I was using the highlighter. We start off with an x squared, then we have x to the first, and then x to nothing. So we're going to write our coefficients, and remember, if there's no coefficient, we can assume there's a 1. So the coefficients for our dividend, we got 1, negative 3, negative 18. And in the box in the upper left here, we're going to put the 0 of our divisor, so we're going to put positive 6. Draw the line, drop that first number down. We're going to take that 1, multiply by the 6 in the upper left box, and we're going to put it right there. So 1 times 6 is 6. Now we have negative 3 plus 6, which gives us 3, positive 3. And we're going to take that 3 and multiply it by the 6 again up here, and we're going to get positive 18. And we're going to add negative 18 plus positive 18, we get 0. We get a remainder of 0. So again, going back to the original, we started with an x squared, we divided by x. So our first term, we're just going to get 1x squared, or you can just say x squared. Sorry, not x squared. Goodness gracious. I'm tired. My apologies. We're going to get just 1x. The next part is just going to be minus 3. Since we don't have a remainder, you don't need to say plus 0 over x minus 6. You can, but you don't have to. And we're just going to leave it like that. Keeping on here. Next up, we have x to the third minus... Sorry, waiting for AirServer to catch up. You know, I'm going to give AirServer a break. I'm going to pause this video and we're going to start another one.